Thanks so much for taking the time to be here.
It's good to be
Oh,
here.
pleasure.
So, the first I was just joking with Maeve in messages earlier. The first book that released this week is Maeve Greyson's part of her Time to Love a Highlander series, and it's Saving Her Highland Trader. It's book 5, and the tagline for this one is just like crazy pants. Maeve, can you tell us a little bit about the book and tell us the stakes?
Well, Mila is a Scottish tour guide, and she travels back in time, and she meets her forever love, of course. But the problem with that is she knows him. She's read his history, and she knows that in just a few months he's going to be hanged, drawn, and quartered. And there goes the cat. She
Right?
just promised to be good.
Get your happily ever after, but just for 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And because at first she's not quite sure who he is, but the more she finds out about him, and when he rescues her and her godson Robbie, because Teague he's a big hunky hero, but he's got a soft heart, and he takes in strays. That is his failing. He always takes in anybody who needs a home. He is rebuilding his clan because he's a McDonald, and most of his family was killed during the Glencoe massacre. So he's kind of rebuilding his clan and just by rescuing people. So he takes them to the castle, and as soon as they arrive at his castle, she recognizes it, and it is a castle that she researched in the 21st century. And so that's how she knows his fate. So she has to figure out if history can be changed.
And it's not ambiguous. It's not like the ship went down, or he was lost at sea, or he
No,
disappeared in New
he's
York. Just like, no, it hung, drawn, and quartered is pretty specific.
exactly, because he's a Jacobite sympathizer, and so that's kind of what happened to them back then. And but she has to save him, and she's pretty determined. And even though his grandmother says, you fate can't be changed, nobody believes that anything can be changed, but we'll see.
Oh, great.
Right?
That is terrific.
It's like the she went back in time and fell in love with the man who was
About to die, yes.
executed. Yeah, it was like, the stakes are right there and crystal clear.
What a
And
conflict.
see, his time is in 1722, so that's only like 24 years before the big, the Culloden and the
Laden.
war that
Mhm.
ended the clan system. So she knows all this, so
Yeah,
she's up against a lot.
yeah. So even a reprieve at this point is not a long-term reprieve necessarily.
No, mm-mm.
Ay, ay. So what's she like?
Wow.
She's uh she's very independent, and she's not really a people person, but she's tour guiding pays the bills. Plus
Mhm.
she's taken in her godson Robbie because his parents were killed in a car accident, and so she's trying to raise him. And she recently lost her grandmother to cancer, and so she's just had a really terrible year.
Yeah.
But it's spring of the new year, and she's ready for a change, and she's ready for everything to get better. And boy, be careful what you wish for when you wish for change.
That is kind of Job-like, and it's
Yes,
it's like,
exactly. So, but she takes care, and Robbie, he's a 15-year-old, but he's been bullied because he's really small for his size, and
Mhm.
he's a genius. He's just a brainiac, and so the kids at school pick on him, and she goes into Mama Bear mode and takes
Does
up.
he go back in time with her?
Oh yes, he goes back
Oh,
with her.
cool.
Yes,
Oh,
and
cool. Oh, that's extra fun.
yeah, and in fact, when before she decides she's going to try to change history and save Teague, she tells Robbie, because Robbie really likes Teague, because Teague's just one of those charismatic people that everybody
Mhm.
loves. And so she breaks the news to Robbie that Teague's going to die in about 3 months. And Robbie says, well, we have to save him. And she said, well, you can't change history. And he said, us being here changes history. He said, think about it.
He's
So
not wrong.
That's right. So Robbie is a driving force. So
Oh, that sounds like so
How
much fun.
cool.
Yeah, that sounds like so much fun.
it
So
was a
there
blast.
are more there are more Highlanders to come after this one, right?
Two more
Two more.
after this one. Yep.
And this is book 5 in the series, so we've already
Right.
had quite a few Highlanders.
Yep.
Flitting back and forth in time.
Oh, you can never have too many Highlanders.
Never.
You know, that's just a universal truth, is what that is.
Yeah.
So, Laura, your book is the next book that comes out this week, and it's A Love. Make sure I get it right. A Love That Heals the Heart. I always get all the right words and put them in the wrong order in my head. So
That's all right. I can never remember the names of my books.
A Love That Heals the Heart, and it's Men of Valor series.
Yes, I had a Men of Valor series, and the original Men of Valor were 3 of them. They were 3 army friends, very good friends, and they come back after the war, the Crimean War, and find their true loves. And then, doggone, this hero came up, and he appeared in book 3. So what are you going to do? And he just kept saying, excuse me, I need my book. Excuse me, I need my book. And so now there are 4 books in the Men of Valor series.
Well, you couldn't leave him hanging. That would be wrong.
Wrong, just totally wrong. So I wrote his book. I wrote his story. And actually, it was a very easy book. He really explained the book to me.
Oh, lovely. I love it when it's so clear like that.
Yeah, I'm working on a book now. My hero is not talking to me. I cannot figure out why. I've been so nice to him.
And maybe that's the problem.
Maybe you need to torture him a little bit.
Maybe I do. And I
Show him
thought
how
I
it could
did.
be.
But no, this hero, he just, from get-go, he spoke. And so I just wrote down what he told me. And it was very, it's...
So who's the heroine in this book?
Well, my hero is a doctor. And he gets a letter from his older brother who he has not seen for like 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And since he was like 15, 17, because he wanted to be a doctor and their father refused to let him be one. And so, he's the second son. And he went off to be a doctor. And his father told him if he left, don't ever bother coming back. Well, now his father has died, and his brother writes him and says, I need you. Well, he comes back, and just to find out, he wants to see his brother. He wants to make their family whole again. He, is, and so he comes and he finds his brother, and he's an earl now, and he's married. They have 5 children, all girls. And yeah.
Okay, I'm sensing a spin-off series. I don't know what it is. I don't know what
But no, they're just little babies. But his wife, the doctor told him no more children or you're going to lose her. And he honestly loves his wife. And so he calls his brother back and says, I need one favor. That's all I need, one favor. I need you to get married and provide our heir. Because
that's not a big favor. That's a tiny little thing. Just,
just a little bit.
Not that cup of sugar.
Yes. So, he doesn't know what to do, but he says, he has to do this. He feels obligated to do it. He has to do it for his brother, a whole myriad of reasons. And so they set up all of these balls for him to go to, and he will meet his forever love. And doggone he does. He meets, I know, isn't it amazing how that happens?
It's just shocking. I'm surprised every time.
I know it. And it's his neighbor when he grew up.
Oh,
And so he's known her his
Mhm.
whole life, and she's known him, and she's been in love with him her whole
Oh, that's
life.
even better.
Oh, yes, it is so good. And he thinks, oh, this isn't going to be hard, you know. And so he woos her for a little bit, and he kisses her, and it's good. And
Mhm.
so he said, this is it. This is it. And so he said, will you marry me? No. And that's all
Uh-oh.
she says. No, she won't. And she
That's not how
doesn't.
it's supposed to go.
Yeah. And so now what do I do? She says, I'll even help you find the
Oh
perfect
my.
wife. And he says, no, I found the perfect wife.
Mhm.
I want you. And she said, I can't give you what you want. I can't. And that's all she'll tell him.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll tell you.
Oh, what a tease. What a tease. Tease.
Oh, yes,
Wonderful.
and it is such a reason. Oh my goodness. Anyway,
Oh, my
Anyway.
heart's tugging already.
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, he wants her so bad, and he'll do anything. Well, not anything, but he will do an awful lot to get her. And she keeps saying no. And she says, don't ask again. I can't tell you why.
Oh.
And so, anyway, you guys, it's quite a good story. I liked it.
I have no
especially-
doubt at all.
I
Not a one.
especially
good.
liked it because my hero talked to me all the way
Yeah.
through it
Mhm.
and said, nope, not yet. She's still got to say no. She's still got to say no. And she does. So,
Wow. So
okay,
much fun.
what else would you like to know?
How many more books are in this series?
This is the last one.
The last one of the series.
This is the fourth book in my Minna Veller series, and it comes out Thursday. And then in January, it's toward the end of January, then I start my next series. And this is a fun series to write. It's called Willowbrook. And Willowbrook is
Oh, I remember the Publishers Marketplace announcement for that one. That sounds so much fun. Tell us about that one.
Willowbrook is the name of a town. And this town was started by the Duke of Willowbrook.
Mhm.
And there's so many people, it's not that far from London. And so he thinks it's a perfect place to start a town. And it is. The people flock from all over and they start this town. And one by one, people come to start businesses or to start whatever. And so the town starts growing like crazy. And so what you meet in book one is how the town got started. The Duke of Willowbrook, who's an older man, but his grandson comes and he's the heir. And he starts, building this town.
Yeah.
Not the buildings. That's done already. But the people,
Yeah.
building the people, And so the first book is the start. The second book is titled The Page Turner's Bookstore.
Ooh,
And-
I like that title.
And it's the story of the man who starts a bookstore.
Mhm.
And he loves books, just loves books. I'm not going to tell you too much because that'll give it all away. But his father owned a bookstore, still does, in London. And so he goes to Willowbrook because he's very good friends with the grandson of the Duke. And he starts a bookstore there. But he also works for the Queen. And he's a hired assassin for the
Oh my
Queen.
goodness. Oh, that took a turn I was not expecting.
No, it did for the heroine too. Yes, because in his spare time, he writes children's books. And
Okay.
What's spare time? What's spare time?
but yeah. But the Queen wants him to do, he says, I don't want to kill anymore. I want to write children's books. And but the Queen says, one more. You've got to.
Oh, Lord.
Do
It's
one
going to
more.
be somebody that matters to the heroine. That's how it has to go.
Yeah, her dad. Yeah,
Oh, my.
her father. They accuse him of stealing money because he's head of the finance committee and stuff. And so that's all I'm going to tell you on that one.
Well, I'm going to push you for details next month because when I did the publisher's marketplace announcement for that one, I thought, oh, we're going to get to learn all kinds of stuff about how towns work and how and about tradespeople and all that kind of stuff. So I was very excited when I saw that one.
It really, I thought I'm going to make it a 5-book series. But then as I was writing down, the first book is the grandson. Then there's the bookstore owner. Oh, we have to have a doctor in there. And so the doctor comes to town and he falls in love with the midwife and she's an herbalist. And plus she's a doctor. She's doctors yet. Anyway, and then book 4, what do we have? Oh, there's the governess that comes.
Because you need
and
them.
Then there's a school teacher, and then there's just lots of people in this town.
Well, I'm going to press you for details about it next month because I am very excited about that series as well.
I am too.
Emily, do you have a book out this week?
Surprise, surprise, I do. For those of you who have somehow managed to go the last 3 months without seeing my face, I have a book series called The 12 Days of Christmas, and it's been one novella every Friday for the last 12 Fridays, finishing this Friday. So yes, I've had quite a few books out. Thank you so much to the Dragonblade team for putting up with me and making so many covers and so many promo images, and it's been quite intense. But it's kind of bittersweet to get to the end of the series this week. It feels a bit weird.
Yeah, I can imagine because it has been a long time coming, and they're so delightful, and the stories are so delightful, and it's like.
Yes, yay!
I mean, I've enjoyed.
Well, I mean, the turtle doves. Come on, man, that was just the cutest thing ever.
I'd wanted to write twins for ages. And I felt like every time I tried to do it in other books, it just felt really shoehorned in, like it didn't fit. And then I saw 2 turtle doves and I was like, there we go. There they are. May or may not have been based partly on children that I know, not twins, but very mischievous, very well-meaning, very rambunctious little children. So yes, but this week we've got the finale, which is A Partridge in a Pear Tree. Of course, you'll know that because you'll all know the song by now.
Because some of us are singing the carol and are asleep at this point.
I said this before and I'll say it again. When I wrote these 12 novellas, the only piece of music I listened to was the 12 Days of Christmas music song. I had a playlist of 8 different interpretations, and I just listened to that on loop. And I was dreaming about it. It was astonishing. So the whole series follows the Fitzroy family. We've got 3 brothers and then their 12 total daughters. And of course, it being the last book, we've got the last one who's unmarried. This is Isabella. Isabella is very unlike me She's very quiet. She's very shy. She's, always a little bit nervous about coming forward. She always feels a bit overshadowed. She's got an Italian mum, and all of her sisters are very loud and opinionated, and she's always kind of not left out on purpose, but just kind of unnoticed by everyone around her. And she is the daughter of the eldest Fitzroy, so she lives in the family seat, Chalcroft, and it's 1819 Christmas. The entire Fitzroy family is coming for Christmas.
All the previous, like, and all the
Every
kids and all the
single
married
one.
peoples and a whole
Every
shebang.
single one. We're gonna have a few loose ends tied up in this one. She's not looking forward to it, and she takes opportunity to kind of sneak out and go to Bath, which is the nearest town to Chalcroft. And she completely accidentally witnesses a mugging, or an attempted mugging, because the guy kind of fights back, and he's very nimble and he's very quick. He defends himself very powerfully. She's absolutely blown away, but this is the most exciting thing that has ever happened to her in her entire life. The miscreants run off. The man who would have been attacked but ended up being able to defend himself comes up towards her and kisses her against the wall of the street and walks off.
Oh,
and
my.
She is just like, what has happened?
But
as you would. And that is the beginning of her story. That is when she meets a man who she absolutely should not know. He has no family, no title, no name, no wealth, no connections. But
he's the alleyway kisser.
He is. And he seems very interested in her. And, she gets home, is absolutely mortified, refuses to tell her parents anything of what's happened, goes to bed, and in the pear tree by her window, there's a man. And that's where we start.
He's the partridge, huh?
This is Mr. Guy Partridge. He's a partridge in a pear tree, and Christmas
Oh, my.
again.
Oh,
You are so clever.
I mean, I'll be honest, a few of these titles were a lot easier to do than others. So Partridge in a Pear Tree, Two Turtle Doves, they kind of worked really well. Mm-hmm. 5 Gold Rings I really liked because at that point there was 5 unmarried Fitzroy cousins. So one of them buys 5 gold rings as gifts, and she has this very flirtatious conversation with the gentleman she's with about, are you going to buy me a ring? But some of them were a lot harder. Geese a laying, 6 geese a laying was particularly challenging.
There are a lot of birds. They're just a lot of birds.
There was a lot of birds. By the time I got to 6 geese a laying, I was like, I don't know if I can finish this series. But then I had inspiration. Nathaniel, the hero of that book, is an ornithologist. He loves birds. He loves studying animals, and he's very shy about it and a bit embarrassed. And so he solved that problem for me. Thank you, Nathaniel. And now we're kind of at the end of the series. I'm really hoping that people who have waited, and there are people, those of my readers have said, like, I'm waiting till they're all ready. Mm-hmm. So kudos to you. You've been waiting for 3 months. You can now binge them all 12. Mm-hmm. They're all in Kindle Unlimited. So you can sit Christmas Eve and just run through them.
Wonderful.
I hope so.
It will be wonderful.
And they're Dragonblade Flame line.
They are flame.
They are steamy. So
they are steamy. Their covers are suitable for work. The interiors are not suitable for work. Please be advised. Like, the covers are gorgeous. And like, full props to the team who, I know Dara, but does incredible things. But I do want to be, this is not sweet closed doors. This is the scorching, steamy, very sexy, super hot reads.
Alley kissers.
Alley kissers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, there's kissing from page, not quite page 1, but definitely chapter 1. Shenanigans are occurring in every single one of these books.
Sounds wonderful.
It'll be like an extra steamy Christmas this year, which would be kind of nice because it's cold here now.
It was cold here, so I'm just outside Bath. It was like highs of -5 over the weekend, and I was like, oh yay, that's Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, I'll be honest. But now it's 13 degrees. Like, it's suddenly got warm. So like, I'm going out without a coat on and stuff, which is real weird.
We have a high of 5 below.
Oh my goodness.
And that's Fahrenheit.
Oh my goodness.
That's too cold. I don't want that, thank you.
No, you don't.
No. I like our warmth.
Virginia's going to be cold for us this weekend.
Yeah,
nighttime 5s and 8s and stuff. It's like Cute,
That's cold.
but not Five Below.
Lamps everywhere for the outside feral cats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
It looks like your buddy left us, Maeve.
Yeah, Amy said, I'm out.
So, Emily, I know we talked about what Laura's got coming up next. Emily, I know you've got a new series launching in January as well.
I do indeed. So I've got the Dukes in Danger series, which is launching in January. And these are all Dukes who, for one reason or another, are bored. They're just bored. They don't want to sit around drinking tea and discussing the weather.
Duke would be potentially boring.
They just want to do stuff. They're those sorts of guys, and we all know those guys. You know those guys who sit on a sofa and they're tapping their feet within 5 minutes, and they're like, "Can I fix something? Can I do something? Is there a garage? Is there a shed? Can I go somewhere? Do you have an errand? Can I drive?" They're just like, "Oh, these are these men." So, book one, Don't Judge a Duke by His Cover, features Lawrence, who's Duke of Penshaw, and he's undercover attempting to find a traitor to the crown. He's left behind his identity, and he's working in an illegal boxing ring in London. And the first chapter features what I'm now calling a punch cute, which is where he is distracted. He's in the ring. He's trying to look around, being like, right, is this guy here? You know, this guy murdered his own brother. Lawrence is very invested in finding this traitor. And he looks up and he sees not only a woman, which is very naughty and radical, but a rather beautiful one. And this distracts him sufficiently that he is knocked out.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. A punch cute is
it was so fun to write. So fun to write. And this is going to be book 1 of 12. So there's going to be a lot of Dukes getting a lot of danger. I have book 4 or 5 with Violetta now. I will be honest, I am losing count. It's near the end of the year. Be gentle with me. And I've got Dukes who are injured, Dukes who've been disabled, Dukes who are still in hiding, Dukes who are pretending to be undercover, but are they? They're triple bluffing, double bluffing themselves. They're chasing after gangs. It's all very, very exciting. But of course, they are all completely distracted by a particular young lady.
So many Dukes, so little time.
I know.
Maeve, what do you have coming up next?
Well, let's see. We've got the 2 last books of the Time to Love a Highlander series. I have to look at my spreadsheet. Loving Her Lonely Highlander, which he's for a wife, but he doesn't want to marry one that he might be in danger of loving.
Oh, that's inconvenient.
Yes. Well, he's been married twice before, and both wives died. He loved them both, and both wives died. But now he has a daughter. He needs an heir, and but he's determined he's not going to go through the heartache of losing someone he loves again. Aww. So he brings a very despicable woman and decides he's going to make a marriage contract with her, but his 9-year-old daughter decides otherwise. And
thank goodness.
She picks out her new stepmother. So, and that's all I'm going to tell you.
Oh,
Laura.
So much teasing going on this time. So much.
And then the last book is Delighting Her Highland Devil. The hero of that one he's still hiding from me, but the lady in there, she's a professor who cannot walk and chew gum at the same time in the 20s. And I mean, college students take her classes just to watch her bumble around during her lecture. Bless her heart. She's just clumsy as she can be. And but she's real sweet and independent. She doesn't let it get her down. But I know how she's going to meet him, but I haven't decided how he is going to react yet. So, and then after that, I go into the Regency series. So we will see.
Oh, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Have to leave my Highlanders behind for just a little while.
You're not going to bring any down to Regency London and... Oh, bless you, Laura.
Bless you.
Oh, come on. Sinus problem.
God bless you. Yes. Well, it's the shift in the weather.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But,
good Nebraska weather.
Yes.
Well, I was thinking we were going to have time to talk about Christmas cookies and all kinds of other stuff, and we have talked ourselves out. So, ladies, I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us this week. I will do the same thing I do every week and put the links to the books in the comments to the video so that you can find them if you haven't. Dragonblade books are their very best deal on pre-order and release because you can get them for like 99 cents. Come on, man.
Yes.
Give them away.
And if you are waiting to binge all the 12 days of Christmas, you can do that in Kindle Unlimited Dragonblade books.
Yes.
Even the few that do launch wide always end up in Kindle Unlimited, so you can read to your heart's content, which is what I do.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Ladies,
Yes.
thanks so much. I hope that you have a happy holidays, however you celebrate, and because this is
You
going to
too.
air right before the holidays for the Dragonblade family, where our family is wishing your families happy holidays as well. However you celebrate.
Absolutely. Happy holidays and a
Happy
blessed
holidays.
new year.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week at the same time.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.